For sure. Well, in I believe it was about 1971 or 1972, the name was changed from Camp 4 to Sunnyside, and the sign was hauled down to the old dump in El Portal, which is also now gone. And I hauled a load down to the dump, and there was the sign looking right at me, so I picked it up, thinking it would be a memento of the good old days in Camp 4. I have been in Camp 4 since 1965 myself, which kind of dates me there, as well as many of my other friends who are here. And I've had it ever since. It's been mounted on the living room wall. And a couple of weeks ago, Steve Roper called me up and asked me to get the sign duplicated. And is Paul Splain still here, the artist in Oakhurst who did the sign? Okay, he's gone, unfortunately. He owns the Coppersmith, a business down in Oakhurst. He's been a metalsmith since 1938, which dates him also. And as you can tell by the sign there, it really is a beautiful sign. Anyway, on behalf of myself, who I guess and my family, who are the keepers of the original sign, Tom Frost, of course, who is really the inspiration behind this, the American Alpine Club, we'd like to give this replica sign to Chip Jenkins and the National Park Service here in Yosemite.
I thought Greg was going to bring the check.
I got about 4 or 5.
The check's in the mail, Tom.
Got it. This has been an unbelievable experience being with everybody today. Just thanks. It's been so great. I think I'm supposed to say something about why we're all here. And so you remember the excellent flood of '97 that cleaned out some of the buildings that weren't supposed to be here. Unfortunately, it was the same year that Ryan and I came here to do a little climbing. I didn't think I'd ever be doing that again. It's the same old story, falling in with a bad crowd. I thought I was immune to that problem. And so we spent too much time in Camp 4, and it was apparent that everybody was not happy about the developments that were planned in that area. Nobody in the climbing community was happy, and nobody in the Yosemite National Park Service was happy. But the thing was so huge that no one person and no group of people had the power to affect it. And so it's one of those really unfortunate times when an idea comes to you and you hear it. And it was, well, you can sue the National Park Service, you know, if you want to. And you can work to get Camp 4 on the National Register if that's where it belongs. And so then I fell in with Greg Adair, John Middendorf, and Dick Duane, and we were a perfect group to do whatever it was we did. And so, it was over in San Francisco. And so we all came over there, and it was a great meeting. We all said great things and talked a really good talk. But there was one statement that was made that had more truth in it than any other, I felt. And that's when John Reynolds, as he was walking out of the room, he had to leave early, said, "You know, guys, I'd really like to help you, but I have too much pressure on me from Washington." And he walked out of the room. And we left, and we determined that if we were going to be friends and support one another, that the best thing we could do is to get the pressure off John Reynolds and his team in Yosemite. And so we worked to do that. Of course, we didn't achieve that at all. The pressure increased, that's all it did. But I think we did help in allowing them the opportunity to replan. And what we knew was that if they had the opportunity to replan, that they would do a good job of it. We knew that. We weren't worried about that. We weren't worried about what the plan was going to be. We just needed to get them an opportunity to do it. And at that point, they didn't have it. There was too much pressure. So what we did actually was step up to the plate. We had to step up there and stand there and ask the National Park Service, our friends there, to please obey the rules. And secondly, please do a good job of planning in this place. And so, well, they did that. That's what they've done. They're doing that 100%. Now, something that we never thought would happen, that with all the user groups here, including other climbers, that's about as tough as it gets. The Park Service, the concessionaire, tourists, the American Indians, they're going to have a neat little cultural center just west of Camp 4. We have to respect that. So that's the future for us. We're out in the limelight, and we can't go back. It's too late. Anyway, I want to thank Allison already thanked everybody. I really appreciate the American Alpine Club putting on this party, and the Sierra Nevada section volunteers. Totally awesome. I'd like to, and I'm thankful for all the folks that have had to do all this replanning. These folks have worked 100 times harder than they ever thought they were going to have to, and that we ever thought they'd have to. I'm really thankful for you guys. Thanks very much for what you're doing. And there's another person. Bruce Babbitt had a press conference in about December, and he was talking about Yosemite, and somebody asked him about what he thought about the National Register business, and he said, oh yeah, he said, and he compared Camp 4 with Independence Hall.
Yeah. Wow.
And I says to myself, he doesn't know what he's talking about. I says, there's real dirt in Camp 4. But he's been to Camp 4. He walked through Camp 4 with Dave Brower. And I agreed with him. Anyway, you know, these guys that figured out a climbing style to achieve, you know, what was important to them. Yvonne, he built some hardware to fit our desires. People like Chuck Pratt. Chuck, if you're here, get up here on the stand. Poor guy, last I saw him, he was lying in our motel room. He had a bad breakfast today. But anyway, Chuck and others, you know, established a free climbing standard that has kept the rest of us honest ever since. So our heritage is great, you know, and the fact of it is that if Camp 4 is in your face, you can't believe any of this historical significant stuff. And it's a little bit commonplace to us, but it's a great heritage that we have. Anyway, thanks for everything, and it's really good to be here with you.